Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel today. My name is Christian and today we're here to talk about the new record from All Time Low. It is titled Last Young Renegade. This is the band's 7th studio record and the follow-up to 2015's Future Hearts. Now, I really had no idea what to expect sound-wise going into this record because the two songs I listened to before going into this record was Dirty Laundry and Last Young Renegade, which were drastically different sounding songs, which I think was a good strategy for the first two singles. And this is also the band's first release on their new record label, Fueled by Ramen, which really accounts for all the really cringy as fuck promo you've seen in, relation to this record coming out. Now, as for the actual record, I think this is a really good record from All Time Low, but I also know this is going to be a record that divides a lot of fans. It's a record that sees them experiment with a whole bunch of new sounds, and at least for my money, I think they succeed at it for the most part. So let's get straight into it. Now, let's first talk about the sound of this record, and this is a sound that All Time Low hasn't really experimented with all that much throughout their career. It shows them using a lot more of the poppier side of their music, as well as mixing in a lot of electronic elements, and it's not done in a way that is pandering like you heard on Future Heart, which was very trying to get into that whole five sauce wave that was coming through, but instead this is very artistic, and you can tell that they've tried to do something unique. There's an ambient feeling that really runs all the way throughout this record and really connects each track to each other in a really interesting way, and the ambience is really used to make this record more cohesive, even when the track listing is sometimes questionable. But this overlaid ambience doesn't mean that every track sounds the same. Every track really does have its own unique flavor and a level of variance to it that is really, really cool. Instrumentally, there is a lot going on, but not so much with the organic instrumentation. It's done a lot more with the soundscapes that are created using synths and electronics. Drugs and Candy is a really good example of this by using some electric guitar and some held back distant electronic percussion. There's a real sense of mystery to the verses of this track, which sounds great. The chorus to this track is also really great, with the vocal ad-libs used in the chorus being one of my favorite moments on the entire record. Guitar-wise, there are some great moments, but they are fleeting, which will come as a disappointment to some fans. But for me, honestly, I don't mind it. You get your guitar-driven tracks like Last Young Renegade and Nice to Know You, and that really fills my appetite for that kind of thing from All Time Low now, and I was just interested to see what they wanted to present to me that was new. However, there are moments where you do wish the guitars were pushed up in the mix a little bit more, and the prime example of this is the chorus to Life of the Party, where you really just want some big strummed guitar chords in that chorus to really add some weight to it. The drumming on this record is very good in both the acoustically driven tracks like Last Young Renegade and in the electronically driven tracks like Drugs and Candy. For me, honestly, the electronic percussion really drives a lot of the best moments on this record. What this record is truly driven by, though, is Alex Gaskarth on vocals, who once again puts in a terrific performance. Alex has always had an amazing gift for melody, and he utilizes it again here, and his introspective lyrics really add a lot of weight to those melodies. And there are some absolutely massive choruses on this record, particularly in Drugs and Candy, which I already talked about, Dark Side of Your Room, and in Life of the Party. Last Young Renegade is truly one of the biggest highlights on this record and really brings back that old school All Time Low sound, but it doesn't sound outdated. It sounds vital, and honestly, this record would be missing something massive if it wasn't here. Life of the Party is also one of my favorite tracks on the record, even though on first listen I didn't really like it all that much. This is one of those rare instances where seeing a track live really brought it to life for me. It sounds absolutely massive, I promise you. Even if you don't like the track on the record, when you see it live, it's going to be one of the best moments of the set. Now, this record absolutely isn't perfect, and there are some songs that truly don't hit the mark at all. The first one of those tracks is Nice to Know You, where the band try and throw that rockier edge back into the record, but it just doesn't fit. And then you have a track like Nightmares, which really goes nowhere throughout its entire duration and just sounds like complete filler. And finally, Afterglow, which sounds like an early 2000s family jungle adventure movie theme song. Truly, it just sucks. There are songs on here for old school All Time Low fans, songs like Last Young Renegade and Nice to Know You, but truly, for me, that's not what this record is about, and if it's what you wanted from All Time Low, if that's the sound that you want, then I think you're going to be disappointed. But to get back into the positives for a little bit longer, Dark Side of Your Room is another massive highlight on this record for me, and really combines the old school All Time Low sound with this new sound that they're experimenting with on this record, and they do it brilliantly. The verses are dark and mysterious before bursting into this massive chorus, which sounds like it's being played in front of 1 million people. And finally, let's briefly talk about the production job on this record. This record was produced by two guys. Their names are escaping me right now, but one of them worked on Paris's White Noise, and the other one worked with 1OK Rock and Five Sauce on a couple of songs. I think the production job on this record has been done quite well. As I said, there are times where you want those guitars to come up in the mix a little bit more, but outside of that, I think it's been done really well. Look, this record isn't up to the same standard as some of the great all-time low records of the past, particularly Don't Panic and So Wrong It's Right, but for me, it's better than Future Hearts. This record really feels related to Dirty Work, which was also a very experimental record and was very polarizing with fans, which I think this one will be as well, but I loved that record and I really, really like this one. So my top 3 tracks are going to be Last Young Renegade, Drugs and Candy, and Dark Side of Your Room, and I'm going to give this record a 3.5 out of 5. Anyway, what did you guys think about the record? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Did you like the record? Did you not like the record? Let me know down below. We're here to have a conversation about music, so let's do that. But if you're just going to fill up the comment section with hate and insults, just know I'm going to read your comments and laugh at how pathetic your life is. Anyway, thanks for watching my video today, guys. Please hit subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Fresh Currents.